I paid for my sister's wedding dress, thinking it was her dream gown. The next day, I found out she had secretly returned it for cash. I wouldn't have even known if I hadn't walked past the shop the next day. It was my day off, and I was running errands when I saw the boutique's window display, the same shop where Bella had twirled in front of the mirrors, beaming when she saw herself in the dress I bought for her. It made me smile, remembering how happy she looked. I had worked extra shifts, skipped vacations, and saved every extra penny to afford it. She kept saying how much she loved it, how it was perfect. I thought, this is worth it. I had no real reason to go inside, but on a whim, I stepped in. The woman at the counter recognized me immediately and smiled. "Oh, you must be happy she found something she really loves," she said. At first, I thought she meant the dress we picked, so I nodded. Yeah, she was over the moon about it. The woman hesitated. Right. I just wasn't sure if she told you already. A strange feeling settled in my stomach. Told me what? She came back first thing this morning and returned the dress. She said carefully, "We don't usually do refunds, but she said there was an emergency, so we made an exception." For a second, I didn't react because it didn't make sense. The words hung in the air, but my brain refused to put them together. "She returned it?" I asked, forcing out the words. "Did she pick another one?" The woman gave me a confused look. "No, she just took the cash refund." I felt lightheaded. My sister had been so excited. She'd posted on social media. She had taken pictures. She had hugged me and said it was the best gift ever. And then she just took the money. I swallowed, my mouth suddenly dry. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I handled the refund myself," she said. "She said something about unexpected expenses and we felt bad, so we let it go." I don't even remember mumbling a thank you before I turned and walked out of the store. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone. I opened Bella's profile, still trying to convince myself there had to be some explanation. Then I saw her newest post, a boomerang video of her laughing, sipping a cocktail with a caption, "Much needed getaway." My stomach twisted. I scrolled down. Another post, this time a full body shot in a bikini at a luxury resort. Blue ocean stretching behind her. And then it hit me. She used the money for a vacation. The dress I had worked so hard to buy wasn't good enough to keep, but the cash was perfect for a beach trip. I stood frozen on the sidewalk, staring at my screen, unable to breathe. I thought back to the way she hugged me when I paid for the dress. She had tears in her eyes. She called me the best sister in the world. Was she lying the whole time, or did she just change her mind overnight? I called her. She didn't pick up. I texted, "Where are you?" No response. I tried to tell myself not to jump to conclusions. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe she really needed the money for something else, but a vacation. My mind raced. Had she planned this all along? The boutique only allowed store credit for returns, but if she told them it was an emergency, she must have made up a whole story. My sister was not struggling financially. She wasn't rich, but she and her fiancé both had decent jobs. If she wanted a trip, she could have saved up like everyone else. Instead, she took my money. The money I had earned working weekends, picking up shifts, skipping things I wanted just to give her something special. I started walking, not even sure where I was going. I was just angry. Then I remembered our parents' house. Maybe she was there. It wasn't far, and before I even thought about it, I was knocking on the door, my hands still shaking. My mom opened it, surprised. "Rita, what's wrong?" "Is Bella here?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Mom frowned. "No, she's on vacation." "Didn't she tell you?" Something inside me snapped. "She told me she loved the wedding dress I bought her," I said, my voice rising. "She told me it was her dream gown, and then she went back the next day and returned it for cash." My mom's expression barely changed. "Oh, is that what this is about?" she said, sighing. She did mention something about changing her mind. She didn't change her mind, I said, my voice shaking. She took the money and used it for a vacation. Mom gave me a disapproving look like I was overreacting. It's not a big deal. She needed a break. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I paid for that dress, I said, my voice louder now. I worked extra shifts. I skipped vacations, and she just threw it away like it meant nothing. My mom waved a hand. She didn't throw it away. She used the money for something else. It's her wedding, Rita. She has a lot on her plate right now. Something inside me felt like it was crumbling. I had spent years doing everything I could to be the good sister. Whenever Bella needed help, I was there. She was short on rent, I covered it. If she wanted something she couldn't afford, I found a way. And every time I told myself this is just what family does. But this wasn't some small thing. She had lied. She looked me in the eye, let me believe I was doing something nice for her. Then she ran off to the beach with the money instead. Mom gave me a puzzled look. What do you mean? I swallowed. I mean, I'm done being her personal bank. I'm done being taken advantage of. She opened her mouth to respond, but I turned and walked away before I could hear whatever excuse she was about to make. As I got into my car, my phone buzzed. A text from Bella. Finally. Maybe she had something to say for herself. I opened it. Hey, can you cover my nails and hair for the wedding? I'll pay you back later. Quote. I stared at the message, my fingers tightening around my phone, and then, for the first time in my life, I ignored her. I drove home in silence, gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles ached. My heart was still racing, my mind looping over everything that had just happened. The big refund, the social media posts, my mother brushing it off like it was nothing. And then Bella's text asking for even more. I wasn't even surprised. And maybe that was the worst part. I sat in my car for a long time after parking, staring at my phone. The message sat there unread past that first glance as if ignoring it would make it disappear. But it didn't disappear. Neither did the sinking feeling in my stomach. Because deep down, I already knew this wasn't just about the dress. It was about every time Bella had taken advantage of me, every time I'd been told to just help her out or be the bigger person, every time I had let it happen. I could already hear my mother's voice in my head, the same thing she always said whenever Bella did something selfish. That's just how she is. That phrase had followed me my whole life. When we were kids, Bella was the one who got the new toys while I got the hand-me-downs. I was older, so I was expected to understand. When we both got allowance, she spent hers immediately, then cried to our parents when she had nothing left. They always told me to share. Be a good sister. When I got my first job at 16, babysitting for neighbors, my parents expected me to buy Bella things. She's too young to work. Rita, just get her a little something. Then when she turned 16, she demanded a car. Our parents couldn't afford to get her one, so they came to me. Rita, you've been working for years. It wouldn't hurt to help her out. I said no that time. I remember it so clearly because it was one of the only times I had ever refused. Bella had thrown a tantrum, crying and yelling about how unfair it was. And my mom had looked me in the eye and said, "She's your sister. Don't you want her to be happy?" Like it was my responsibility. Like I was the selfish one. Bella eventually got the car because our parents took out a loan, and guess who helped make the payments when they struggled? That's how it always was. Bella spent. Bella made mistakes. And I picked up the pieces because that was my role. When I graduated college, I wanted to take a trip with my friends before starting my first full-time job. I had saved for it, planned for it, and I was so excited. Then Bella decided to move out for the first time. She got a place that was way too expensive, a nice apartment she couldn't actually afford. But instead of getting something within her budget, she whined to our parents and they turned to me. She just needs a little help getting settled. You can take your trip next year. Next year never came because the next year something else came up, and the next year and the next. Eventually, I just stopped thinking about vacations altogether. It wasn't just money either. Whenever Bella got into trouble, I was expected to drop everything and help. The time she failed a class in college and needed tutoring, I had to drive to her campus twice a week after my own work hours. The time she got into a fight with her roommate, I let her crash at my place for months while she figured things out, paying all the extra bills without complaint. And every single time when I got frustrated when I even hinted that I was tired of always putting her first, my mother said the same thing. That's just how she is. As if Bella being selfish was a fixed fact of life, like the weather, something I just had to accept. And I had for years accepted it because I thought that was what family did. But now, sitting in my car staring at my phone, I finally let myself ask the question I had never dared to before. Like, why was it my job to make sure Bella never faced consequences? Why was it always me? Why did I have to sacrifice while she got to live freely, spending recklessly, traveling, having fun? And why was I the bad guy the second I dared to question it? I let out a shaky breath and put my phone face down, refusing to look at her text any longer. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty about ignoring her. I went inside my apartment, but I couldn't settle. My thoughts wouldn't stop. So, I pulled out my laptop, not even sure what I was looking for. I opened up my bank statements. I don't know why I had never done it before. Maybe because I didn't want to see it. But I started adding things up. Everything I had ever given to Bella. Rent help, car payments, bills, shopping treats when she wanted something but didn't want to spend her own money, wedding deposits I had helped with, and then of course the wedding dress. I stared at the final number, my breath catching in my throat. It was more than I had in my savings. I felt sick. I had been so careful with my money, thinking I was responsible, thinking I was being smart, but I had let thousands slip through my fingers, all for her, and she still wanted more. I shut the laptop, and for the first time, I admitted to myself something I had spent years refusing to believe. Bella didn't love me the way I loved her. Not really, because love wasn't using someone. Love wasn't taking and never giving back, and love wasn't throwing away someone's hard work without a second thought, then asking for more the next day. I had spent my whole life believing that if I just gave enough, Bella would appreciate me, but she never would because she never had to. I had spent years making sure she never felt the consequences of her actions. Maybe that was why she didn't even hesitate to return the dress. She thought I would always be there to fix it. But now I wasn't so sure. The next morning, I woke up to missed calls and more messages from Bella. At first, I didn't even check them. I knew exactly what they would say. Some version of, "Hey, can you help me with this?" Or, "Rita, I really need..." Always needing, always taking. But this time, I wasn't in the mood to be guilted into anything. I got up, made myself coffee, and sat at the kitchen table staring at my phone like it was some kind of test. And for once, I wasn't going to fail it. I finally opened the messages. "Bella. Hey, saw you called. What's up?" She had ignored my call from the day before. "Bella, can you help me pay for my hair and makeup trial? It's more expensive than I thought. Bella, Rita." Then an hour later, "Bella, are you seriously ignoring me?" Then a missed call. Then another message. "Bella, why are you being like this?" I took a deep breath. Then for the first time in my life, I typed exactly what I was thinking. "Me. I'm not paying for anything else, Bella. I worked hard for that dress and you turned it into vacation money. I'm done." The message sent. I put my phone down and waited. It took less than a minute for the dots to appear. "Bella. OMG. Are you seriously mad about that?" My jaw clenched. "Bella, I just changed my mind about the dress. It's not like I threw the money away." "Me? You used it for a trip." "Bella, so what?" I needed the break and it's my wedding. Shouldn't I get to decide what's important to me? I stared at the message, the sheer entitlement in it. There wasn't even an ounce of guilt. I took a shaky breath and forced myself not to explain, not to justify my feelings. Me? That money wasn't yours to spend, and I'm not giving you any more. Silence. Then another missed call. Then another message. Bella. Wow. I can't believe you're acting like this over a stupid dress. And that was when I knew without a doubt that I was making the right decision. I put my phone on silent and got ready for my day. A few hours later, my mom called. I debated ignoring it, but figured she'd just keep trying. So I picked up. She didn't even say hello before sighing loudly. Rita, what is going on between you and Bella? I closed my eyes, already exhausted. She knows exactly what's going on. Well, she's really upset. Good, I said flatly. Mom gasped like I had just committed a crime. Rita, that's your sister. She says you're refusing to help her with the wedding now. Is that true? I almost laughed. Refusing to help. Mom, I already bought her a dress and she turned it into spending money for herself. I've done enough. I snapped. She said she just changed her mind. Then she should have told me before taking my money. I snapped. She lied. She looked me in the face and let me believe I was doing something nice for her. Then she ran off to the beach with the money instead. There was silence on the other end. Then my mother sighed again. You know how she is. That sentence, that awful, infuriating sentence. I felt my hands clench into fists. And you know what, Mom? I don't care anymore. My voice was firm, steady. I'm not putting her first at my own expense anymore. I'm done. My mom clicked her tongue like I was a child throwing a tantrum. So you're just going to punish her over one little mistake? I let out a sharp laugh. One mistake. Mom, do you even hear yourself? She's been doing this her entire life, and you always defend her. She's your sister, she repeated like that was supposed to justify everything. Then maybe she should start acting like it. Silence. Then a much colder voice. If you don't help her, don't expect her to help you when you need it. I almost choked on my own breath. Help me. When has Bella ever helped me? And then I realized my mother actually believed Bella had been the victim here. Like I was cruel for not giving her more money. Like Bella was the one being mistreated. Something inside me snapped into place. This was never going to change. No matter what Bella did, my parents would always defend her. No matter how much I gave, it would never be enough. But I didn't have to play along anymore. I exhaled slowly. I hope she has a great wedding, Mom, but I won't be paying for it. And I hung up. My hands were shaking, but my chest felt lighter. For the first time in years, I had set a boundary, and I wasn't backing down. For the next few weeks, Bella kept trying to act like nothing had happened. She sent casual texts. She tagged me in memes. Then she switched tactics, trying to guilt me. Bella, I really wish you'd stop being mad. I need my big sister right now. I didn't respond. Then the anger returned. Bella, wow, you really don't care about me, do you? I still didn't respond, and then she stopped trying altogether. My parents stopped calling too. They weren't happy with me, but I wasn't going to chase after their approval anymore. I had spent my entire life proving my love for Bella. But love isn't taking advantage of someone. But love isn't manipulating or expecting sacrifice without gratitude. I wasn't the bad guy for saying no, and I wasn't going to feel guilty for finally choosing myself. The silence lasted longer than I expected. Weeks passed and Bella didn't text me again. My parents didn't call either. It was strange at first, like waiting for a storm that never came. I won't lie, there were moments where I almost reached out. Not because I felt guilty, but because I had spent so many years playing the role of the responsible sister, the one who fixed things, the one who smoothed over the mess. But I reminded myself that this time I wasn't the one who made the mess, and I wasn't cleaning it up. Then, about a month before the wedding, I heard from my cousin Lena. She called me out of nowhere, voice hushed like she was about to spill some huge secret. "Are you seriously not helping with the wedding anymore?" she asked. I leaned back on my couch. "Where did you hear that?" "Your mom," she said. "She's been telling everyone that you're punishing Bella because of some petty misunderstanding." I sighed, pinching the bridge of my nose. "Of course, I'm not punishing her." I just finally decided I wasn't going to be used anymore. Lena was quiet for a moment, then she let out a little laugh. "Honestly, good for you." That caught me off guard. "You're the first person to say that," I admitted. "Oh, trust me," she said. "You're not the only one thinking it. Bella's always been, well, Bella. People just don't say anything because your parents always make excuses for her." I didn't know whether to feel validated or frustrated. "So, what's going on?" "Why are you calling?" I asked. Lena hesitated, then said, "I thought you'd want to know." "Bella's wedding is kind of falling apart." I blinked. "What do you mean?" "Well," Lena said, and I could practically hear the amusement in her voice. "Turns out when you spend all your wedding money on a vacation, there's not much left for the actual wedding." I sat up straighter. "She had to downgrade everything," Lena continued. "She's having it at some random banquet hall instead of the fancy venue she booked. Half the vendors dropped out because she was late on payments. Oh, and the new dress. Apparently, it's off the rack from some department store." A slow, strange feeling settled over me. I wasn't happy about it exactly, but I wasn't sad either. For once, Bella was facing the natural consequences of her own actions, and there was nothing I had to do about it. Lena dropped her voice lower. "And the best part? Her fiancé found out about the dress refund." I stilled. "How?" "She slipped up," Lena said, "made some joke about the vacation and how at least she got something nice out of it." I exhaled sharply. That sounded exactly like Bella. "And he's pissed," Lena said. "Like really pissed. Apparently, he thought the dress was sentimental to her. He asked why she didn't at least tell him about it, and she got defensive. And you know how Bella is. She can never admit she's wrong." I nodded to myself. "Yeah, that sounded about right. She tried to spin it like you were overreacting," Lena went on. "But the second he heard that you paid for it, and that she took the money and ran off to the beach instead, he flipped." I raised an eyebrow. "Is he still marrying her?" Lena sighed. "I don't know, but apparently they're fighting all the time now. And your mom's trying to keep it quiet because she's embarrassed." That actually made me pause. My mom was embarrassed. I had spent my whole life being told Bella could do no wrong, that she was just carefree or impulsive or needed extra help. And yet, now that other people were seeing her behavior for what it was, my mom wasn't rushing to defend her. Maybe because she finally realized what I had always known. Bella wasn't carefree. She was reckless. She wasn't impulsive. She was selfish. And she didn't need help. He expected it. And now that no one was swooping in to fix things, she was finally seeing what life was like when she had to handle the consequences on her own. "Are you going to the wedding?" Lena asked. I thought about it. I hadn't even RSVP'd. But I already knew my answer. "No," I said simply. Lena whistled. "Well, you really are done, huh?" I smiled a little. "Yeah," I said, realizing it was true. "I really am." The wedding happened, and it was, from what I heard, a disaster. Not in a dramatic, explosive way, just disappointing. Not the elegant magazine-worthy wedding she had imagined. She didn't get the designer dress, the fairy tale venue, or the over-the-top decor she had bragged about. Her fiancé didn't leave her, at least not yet. But people said they barely spoke at the reception. He looked tense, unhappy. And Bella, well, she got exactly what she paid for. Or rather, exactly what she didn't pay for. The whispers started immediately. I thought she had this big fancy venue booked. Why does the food look so cheap? Didn't Rita buy her dress? What happened to it? It turned out when you build your entire personality around making everything look perfect, people notice when things suddenly fall apart. And for once, I wasn't the one left scrambling to fix it. After the wedding, I got one last text from Bella. I can't believe you didn't show up. You really don't care about me at all, do you? I stared at the message for a long time. Then finally, I responded. Me? I cared about you enough to stop letting you use me. You just don't like that kind of love. I hit send. She didn't reply. Maybe she finally realized I meant it. Or maybe she was just too busy dealing with the mess she had made. Either way, it wasn't my problem anymore.